Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift. Thank you for watching, whether it's on demand or watching live. I appreciate your viewership. This is the 8th straight day of NoDQ Live. I must be nuts. And I'm starting to lose my voice, so I apologize if I have some trouble on this video. 8 days is a lot, and we still got 4 more to go. Now, let's talk about some of the topics in wrestling. There's plenty of things to talk about and discuss. The first topic I would like to address, the main topic for today, is Ronda Rousey and WWE, because there is some news about that. Now, a few days ago, maybe it was a week ago, USA Today reported that Rousey was about to debut in WWE, that her debut was imminent, that she was making the transition and it was definitely happening, and an official announcement was going to be made in the near future. Now, there's been a turn of events. Triple H recently did an interview and stated that they have not come to an agreement and that they're just talking right now. And according to TMZ.com, there has not even been negotiations between WWE and Ronda Rousey. So what's going on here? Is Ronda Rousey coming into WWE or not? My feeling is that she will be in WWE sooner than later. There's a possibility this is all WWE trying to swerve people. Triple H is trying to downplay that they're talking to make her debut more of a surprise. That's definitely a possibility. I find it hard to believe that she has not signed a WWE deal and is not going to be part of WrestleMania. I would be really surprised. Dave B says, hello, love the shirt. By the way, welcome everyone to NoDQ Live. George says she will be in WWE. Giant Mob says, nothing is official until WWE announces something. You cannot believe what you read a lot of times. The thing is, WWE already had her at the Mae Young Classic, and I feel like it's going to happen at WrestleMania. And some of you have mixed feelings about Ronda Rousey. I know some people feel that she's washed up, that it's too late to bring her in, that she really won't make much of an impact. Here's my take on it. I think the best shot the women have of main eventing WrestleMania is for Ronda Rousey to be involved. Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte, or Ronda Rousey versus Stephanie McMahon, that could potentially main event, headline, WrestleMania, be the final match. Giant Mob says she is a legitimate badass. Washed up, these people are dumb. I agree with that. I think people that feel she has no value are wrong. I feel she does have value in WWE. I think that she will make a difference in numbers. To what degree, I don't know. George says she's washed up in terms of USC, but her name and reputation still carries weight. That I agree on. Look at Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was essentially washed up in boxing, but when he came to WWE, he made a huge impact for the company. I think Ronda Rousey could do the same thing. I think Ronda Rousey could bring in some new viewers to WWE and give a major rub to a female superstar, whether it's Charlotte or Becky Lynch, or maybe several of the women. Ronda Rousey could definitely help elevate some of the women in WWE and help the whole women's revolution in WWE. So I feel she is an asset to WWE. Steven says Ronda will never give a decent promo. She lacks charisma. George says Tyson is a great comparison. So I'm getting some different opinions from you guys. That's Gotta Be Kane, the username I love, says, based on where her career is, within the next year would be the best time to bring her in. I think WWE should definitely bring her in for WrestleMania. Whether the talks are true or not, whether she's coming in, whether she hasn't signed, regardless of what's out there right now, I would expect her to be at WrestleMania. I would be surprised if she's not at WrestleMania in some fashion, doing something significant, getting in the ring. I mean, reportedly, she's been training. And I'm not sure what's going on with these reports, if she hasn't been talking to WWE, or if WWE is just trying to downplay the talks to make it more of a surprise. I really don't know. but my feeling is she will be in WWE sooner than later. Hero Villainess says the problem with her fighting Stephanie is Stephanie could not beat a high school cheerleader, let alone Rousey. Well, there you go. Hopefully Stephanie McMahon doesn't read that comment. She would not be very happy with you, Hero Villain 5. You're not making Stephanie look strong with that comment. Lee says it would be Rock and Ronda versus Triple H and Stephanie. Well, that was what was originally rumored a couple years ago. The idea was that that WrestleMania angle was going to set up WrestleMania 32, but things did not work out. And Ronda was still doing the UFC fights. Now, apparently, Ronda Rousey is involved in movie projects. She's got other things going on, so that could potentially delay her coming into WWE. But I feel like with her training that it's going to be happening soon. Amir from Singapore is here. Welcome, Amir. Thank you for tuning in to NoDQ Live. Much appreciated. And as Giant Mob points out, The Rock is also busy in Hollywood. So doing The Rock and Ronda Rousey against Triple H and Stephanie, the timing just wasn't right for it to happen. Will it happen someday? Who knows? Never say never. But I feel like that's pretty much not going to happen anytime soon. I think it's more likely we see Ronda Rousey against somebody like Charlotte Flair. I'd rather see that than Ronda versus Stephanie McMahon personally. I just feel like you bring in Ronda, you elevate the active female performers, and you elevate them through Ronda Rousey. That's how I think it should be done, at least. Yeah, Ronda versus Stephanie. I just don't know how that would be a good match. I really don't. I think Ronda needs to be in there with somebody who has the experience if she's actually going to do a match. Faceman Buddha thinks Ronda will be a one-off. I mean, she could. There's different possibilities, though. You could do Ronda versus Charlotte. You could do the WWE Horsewomen versus the MMA Horsewomen. There's different matches you can do. I think you could get at least 2 matches out of her. Maybe one at WrestleMania and another match at SummerSlam. Alright, so anyways, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about that. And I will go ahead and talk about some other topics here. This is NoDQ Live. Thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please share it. Tell a friend. Anybody you know who watches wrestling. Word of mouth goes a long way. Pick up a t-shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com. Use the code SAVE5 to get a discount. Giant Mob says, any new details on Rich Swann? I have not heard anything else regarding Rich Swann other than he has a lawyer and he has no court date as of this video. So for the time being, he continues to be suspended. He will remain indefinitely suspended from WWE until the case is settled, whether it gets dropped or whether he's acquitted, or regardless of what happens. I mean, the worst case scenario for him would he's charged and he's convicted of a crime and WWE fires him. We'll see what happens. We'll see where this goes. But for now, there's been no court date set and he remains suspended. Hello, Aaron. Best YouTube channel behind my YouTube channel. Well, there you go. Ace69, humble person right there. Ronda versus Absolution. I mean, I think it's too soon to put Absolution in a big match like that. I feel Ronda Rousey should be in there with the top women, whether it's Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch, or the women that have some experience in WWE. I would not put Ronda in there with performers that are new and green and inexperienced. I don't think that's a good idea. Ronda needs to be in there with somebody who's already established, like Charlotte. TGS says, when's the next NoDQ video? Probably it'll be up tonight, most likely. And we have somebody here from India, Aditya from India. Thank you for tuning in, much appreciated. TGS says Ronda versus Asuka. That would be interesting, but I don't know if... I don't know about that one. I feel like as good as Asuka is and she has a character that people care about, I feel like she's not a big enough name. I feel like Charlotte would be a better choice. The reason I think Charlotte's the best choice is not just because of her experience, but also she is a Flair. And I think that would generate some mainstream publicity. You know, doing Ronda Rousey versus the daughter of Ric Flair. I think that would generate more headlines, and I think it's just a better match to do business-wise. If Ronda's only doing 1 or 2 matches, you want to do the biggest match possible. And I did get a question here about Ronda being a babyface or a heel. I think she would be best off being a babyface, but you could make her a heel as well. The fact that she's a celebrity, it's hard to make her a heel. I think she's better off being a babyface and maybe making Charlotte the heel, or just doing a face versus face match and letting the fans pick who they want to cheer for, like a Hogan versus Warrior for the women, something like that. Do you think Roman Reigns will win WrestleMania's main event again? Oh, I really hate to say this, but yes. Would not surprise me if Roman Reigns wins the WrestleMania main event. I think Roman Reigns will probably be the guy after WrestleMania, be the one to beat Brock Lesnar. I really hate to say that too, but unless WWE decides to go in a different direction, that's where I think they're going. And I think people are just going to have to deal with it. Psycho Jet Black, will you sing the American Males theme song? American males, American males, American males, American males. Okay, that's enough of that. Brother Nero, is Cody Rhodes overrated? I think he is a little bit, but I know a lot of people like him. I felt like when he was in WWE, people were saying, oh, Cody Rhodes should be in the world title picture and all this stuff. I never saw Cody Rhodes as that guy. I think he's a really solid hand. He's a very good mid-card worker, but I never saw Cody Rhodes as a main event level superstar. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe he'll be a top guy in wrestling. He's trying to do this event next year, draw 10,000 people. If he can pull it off, more power to Cody. But I never saw him as like a main event level guy, like a Roman Reigns type guy. He's a really solid wrestler, but I don't see him as one of the all-time greats. I don't think he's going to get there, but you never know. Maybe he will. TJS says, did you see Damien Sandow as a main event guy? Ooh, Gilberto just got put in timeout by TJS. Ouch. Damien Sandow, I never really saw him as a main event guy either. I do feel like he had some momentum and WWE dropped the ball and didn't really give him an opportunity. I saw more in Sandow than Cody Rhodes, quite frankly. I think when Damien Sandow was at the peak of his gimmick, I feel like you needed to at least give it a chance. I felt like Damien Sandow was not the best wrestler, but he was a really entertaining personality and a great promo. And I'm just surprised WWE did not go all the way with him and really give him that opportunity. I did see more in Sandow than Cody Rhodes, though. I will say that. Armageddon 1914, what's next for Samoa Joe? Great question. I really don't know what the future is for Joe in terms of what he's doing for WrestleMania. I would hope they have something significant for him. As you guys know, I'm a big Samoa Joe fan. I've been following him for almost 2 decades now. I remember seeing him in Southern California indie promotions back in 2000. The guy is the real deal, in my opinion, and you know, he came to WWE pretty late into his career after already being active for nearly 20 years. I'd like to see him win the IC title and maybe have a big match at WrestleMania. Who would you guys like to see Samoa Joe against at WrestleMania? Who do you think would be his best opponent? Go ahead and leave me a comment and let me know what you think about that. Maybe we'll see Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns. I mean, I could see them continuing to feud into 2018. Maybe Joe wins the IC title in a triple threat, which is my prediction, that Joe will win the title without Reigns taking the fall. We'll see. It would be nice if Joe actually won the title by beating Reigns, but the question is, will WWE make Reigns look weak this close to WrestleMania season? That I don't know. Hero Villain 5 said Samoa Joe versus John Cena. There you go. That's a match I would love to see for WrestleMania. John Cena versus Joe. James Allen agrees. Israel 5234 says Cena also. Carl says Joe versus AJ. There's another possibility. I would definitely love to see Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles in a WWE ring at some point. Psycho Jet Black, do you want WWE to fire Jinder Mahal? No, you don't have to fire the guy. I just feel like he shouldn't be in the main events. I feel he can be a solid mid-card superstar in WWE, and if you come up with a good storyline for him, let him be himself. I've never been a big fan of doing the stereotypical heel foreigner gimmick. I think the most intriguing thing that Jinder Mahal has ever done, in my opinion, in WWE, is when he cut that promo on Talking Smack. I don't know if you guys remember that from earlier this year, when he was just being himself, talking about how, you know, he made this comeback and he was going to prove to everyone that he belonged in WWE and was going to be the world champion and all this stuff. It was just him being himself, not doing the evil heel foreigner character. That was the Jinder Mahal I liked, when he was just being real and speaking from the heart. I thought that was a great promo. Definitely his best promo in WWE was on that Talking Smack episode. It was like somewhere around March, early April, before he got the major push. Like maybe a week or two before it started. TJS says canceling Talking Smack was such a terrible idea. Well, it hasn't been canceled. Keep in mind that WWE is still doing it after the SmackDown pay-per-views. I believe they're doing one this Sunday, although instead of Talking Smack, you guys should be watching NoDQ Live. Just as a programming reminder, I will be doing NoDQ Live, my own live review video of the pay-per-view Clash of Champions. First time ever, live video. Jeffrey just left a $2 super chat donation. How's it going, Aaron? I'm doing great, Jeffrey. Got a bit of a sore throat here, but, you know, the show must go on. Thank you, Jeffrey, for the super chat. Is Vince McMahon the Grinch? He could be. You know, watching, I don't know if you guys know this or not. Oh, by the way, follow NoDQ DOTCOM on Instagram. Friend of mine, James, is running that account. He's got a bunch of cool graphics on there, which you can use to promote NoDQ Live. What I was going to say was, I'm not sure if you guys know this or not, but today is the 20-year anniversary of the Vince McMahon Attitude Era promo. The promo that more or less was the official beginning of the Attitude Era. Yes, there were segments in previous months, and maybe even going back over a year, that were leading to the Attitude Era, but that was when Vince came out on television and said, we're moving in a new direction. That was 20 years ago today, you know, Vince cutting this promo talking about how we in the WWE feel like you, the fans, are tired of having your intelligence insulted. And that's when Vince said they were going to be doing this more cutting-edge product, and they were borrowing elements from Jerry Seinfeld and soap operas and all these different things, and they were making a more compelling television show. It was really a great speech by Vince. But yeah, it is very ironic looking at it 20 years ago, and in that promo, Vince was talking about how the era of the superhero was passé, and here we are 20 years later, and WWE's right back to having the superhero. Instead of telling fans to take their vitamins and say their prayers, now you have the superhero telling fans, I can and I will, or never give up. It is funny how things work in the world of wrestling, how it's pretty much gone full circle over a 30-year period. They went from having the superhero to being reality-based to having the superheroes again. Darren Gregg, why hasn't The Rock been selected for the WWE Hall of Fame? It's just timing, you know? I feel like when the time is right, The Rock will be in the Hall of Fame. There's no question about it. It will happen. There's no rush to do it, though. You do it when the timing feels right for it to happen. When is that? I don't know. Could happen as soon as this year. You know, part of that will depend on The Rock's schedule. There's a lot of factors. If there's somebody else that's a better fit to induct at the time, like if Undertaker's retiring, it might be a better opportunity to induct Undertaker and wait on The Rock. So, you know, it's just a matter of timing, when it's good for The Rock and when it's a good opportunity to do it. Rock should be in 2020. Well, it doesn't matter. To use The Rock's phrase, it doesn't matter, jabroni. Giant Mob says he's too busy getting his Hollywood stars. Psycho Jet Black, will Finn Balor turn heel in 2018? That I don't know. You know, people are asking me about Finn Balor. What's next for him? What does he need to get a big push? What's going to happen with him? I really don't know what's going on with Balor. It feels like he's stuck in a mid-card position in WWE. He went from being the Universal Champion, and it looks like he's going to be feuding with The Miz. Maybe that'll be a good thing for him. We'll have to see what happens with that. Giant Mob says, by the way, happy Rusev Day. It's Rusev Day. All right, there's my Rusev Day song for today. Can you review Impact from last night? I have not watched any of it. Sorry, Gilberto. I'm not being a good TNA soldier, unfortunately. Do you think if Cena wins the Rumble, he could choose to fight for the Universal Championship since he hasn't held it? Anything's possible. Well, at least in the old WWF, anything could happen. I would not rule it out. I suppose the winner of the Rumble could challenge for either title, but I think last year they just had Randy Orton challenge the SmackDown champion. There was no storyline where Orton was going to choose, which I think WWE should do. I think WWE should have the Royal Rumble winner have the opportunity to challenge for either champion. That's just my opinion. I think it makes things a bit more interesting. Excuse me. Make things a bit more interesting. SJP says it's a very happy Rusev Day today. Who do you see getting traded or shaken over to Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania? Maybe Finn Balor. I was just talking about Finn Balor a few minutes ago. He might be a good guy to make the move over to SmackDown and give him some fresh opponents. The guys that they can benefit from having new opponents, new storylines. Maybe Samoa Joe moving him to SmackDown. Psycho Jet Black, are you whiter than Chad Gable? Yes, I am. No question about that. Although Chad Gable's pretty white after that promo on SmackDown, but I think I would do even a worse job than Chad Gable of trying to sound hip and cool, trying to have that swag like the Usos and the New Day. Daniel Gregg says, I noticed you don't review NXT. Why not? I don't watch the NXT weekly shows. Some people might be upset by that, but watching Raw and SmackDown alone is asking a lot. I try to watch the major shows. When I have time, I'll watch some of the minor shows. But yeah, there's only so many hours in the day, and I don't really follow the weekly NXT shows. I'll watch recaps or whatever, but, I just don't follow the weekly shows. Lar B says, any news about Big Cass? I haven't heard anything new. Last I heard, he's still going to be missing WrestleMania. He'll be back sometime in the spring. Again, that's last I heard. Things could always change. Who knows what's going to happen with him when he comes back. I know some people think he would be better off teaming up with Enzo again and reforming that tag team. Maybe as heels. Maybe having Carmella rejoin them and be a three-person faction. I like that idea personally. I like having Enzo, Cass, and Carmella reunite on the main roster. And, Cass and Carmella are a couple in real life, so they could be reunited and be able to spend time together on the road. So I like it. I like the idea of reuniting that group as heels in WWE. I would definitely be down for that. What do you think they are going to do with the Sister Abigail storyline? Asks Sean Mullen. I think WWE has just dropped it. I don't know if they're going to do anything with it, quite frankly. It would be cool if we actually had somebody be Sister Abigail, but now that Bray Wyatt did the split personality thing and WWE dropped it because Bray got sick, I feel like WWE's just given up on it. I mean, never say never. Maybe we will see a Sister Abigail at some point, but it seems like if WWE was going to do it, they would have done it already. There were plenty of opportunities to do it over the years, and it never happened. So you might as well just give up on it. It's just gotten so silly now, and it has no credibility. I mean, does anybody really care about Sister Abigail at this point? That's the big question. James says, honestly, I cannot watch Raw anymore. I just watch for the reviews to keep up. Well, thank you for that. I know some people tell me that they don't follow WWE much anymore, but they still watch the live videos, which is really cool. I'm glad that I can provide some information and keep people up to speed on what's going on. Who's the most stale character in WWE, asks Jason. John Cena, Roman Reigns, The New Day, in that order probably. Lone Wolf says, any updates on the Revival? Well, I believe we could be seeing them fairly soon. Last I heard, I'm not sure off the top of my head which one's injured or not. That's not good. Which one is injured? Somebody's gonna have to put me up to speed here. But last I heard, they should be back in action together as a team pretty soon, maybe by the beginning of the year. Scott's the one that's injured. I mean, Dash Wilder was injured, and then Scott Dawson was injured. I mean, it's just been a really bad break for those guys. You know, the fact that both of them got hurt. One got hurt, and then the other got hurt. It pretty much just completely derailed their momentum in WWE. So hopefully once they come back and they're back as a team, they'll be able to have a fresh start on the main roster and get a solid push. I just feel bad for those guys that they both got injured, and it was not at the same time. It was one and then the other, which just really messed up their momentum. Kurapika07 says they were better off on NXT. You know, they might benefit from going back to NXT and working off some rust, you know, and maybe coming back when there's a good opportunity for them to make a big impact. Retro Mitman says, did you watch the Kevin Owens special on the network? I did watch it, and I thought it was very entertaining. I was very intrigued by Owens and his opinions on his own work, and, you know, I think it was very, very revealing about him and, you know, never being satisfied and always wanting more. You know, that's how a lot of these guys are. They're very driven, and, you know, a great artist will always look for ways to be better. You know, they're never fully satisfied. They're always wanting to improve. And, you know, I think he's a great performer. And, you know, his reaction, you know, that segment with Vince definitely left an impression. The fact that he was disappointed with Vince not approving of the match with Jericho. You know, I have a lot of respect for Kevin Owens as a performer. You know, he's always trying to go out there and be the best performer possible. Psycho Jet Black says, will Scott Steiner be on a panel? That would be an amazing panel if we could get Scott Steiner on. I don't think it'll ever happen, but we might need those closed captioning subtitles for that one. Will Sammy turn on Kevin as a swerve? I don't think that's going to happen. There's really no point for that. You know, they're working well together as a unit right now. I don't see any need for them to split right now, and I don't think that's going to happen. Armageddon 1914, who do you think will beat Asuka? Great question. That one is really hard to say. Maybe Charlotte at some point if we ever get to see Raw versus SmackDown, even though Survivor Series is the only time in the year apparently we see that. That's a possibility. Curtis Butler says you pulled this while I'm at work, foul. Well, isn't it? I mean, I tried to do this at a good time. You know, it's noon Eastern. Sorry I'm doing it earlier. I just have other commitments later in the day today. But I tried. I did think to myself, you know what? If I do this at noon Eastern, a lot of people on the East Coast will be on their lunch breaks, and you know they can tune in and watch live. So I apologize if I'm doing doing this at a bad time for you guys. Got another viewer here from India. I apologize. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce your name because I will butcher it very badly. But thank you for tuning in from India. Got somebody here from the UK. It's 5:30 in the UK, which I guess is a good time. You know, people off work in the UK tuning in. It's 17:56. That's military time, right? Second City Entertainment just sent in a $2 super chat donation. Off topics, your thoughts on the Walking Dead finale. I actually talked about this yesterday on the live video at the very end, but I'll say it again. I thought it was very disappointing, and even though I've heard all the reports about that ending and what's happening next, I'm still not buying it. I'll just leave it at that. TJS says, damn it, stop asking about the Walking Dead. Well, he sent the super chat donation, and I will answer any super chat question. So if you do send in a super chat donation, I will 100% answer your question. Even if it's an offensive question, I will still answer it. Is Ziggler leaving WWE? That I don't know. You would have to ask him, but I doubt he would tell you. Time will tell. If he does the job on Sunday, I think that's a pretty safe bet he's on his way out. If he pulls off a big swerve and wins, then I would say that's a sign he's sticking around with the company. Giant Mob says, who should induct Kane into the Hall of Fame when he goes in? That is a great question. I'd love to see Undertaker do it, obviously, but there's the whole situation of Undertaker not breaking character. Unfortunately, Paul Bearer passed away, so he can't do it. That's a really great question. What do you guys think? Who should induct Kane into the Hall of Fame when he finally goes in? Giant Mob says Edge. Brother Nero says Daniel Bryan. That's a good choice, Daniel Bryan. Beckett says Pete Rose. TJS also says Pete Rose. Mick Foley. Mick Foley's a really solid chance. Anthony says Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I'm seeing some different opinions here. Anyways, I will go ahead and wrap up this video today, NoDQ Live. Thank you all for watching again. Tomorrow, same time, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time. I will be back for the 9th straight day of NoDQ Live. Tell a friend, share this video on social media, and stay tuned. I will be back for more tomorrow, and that'll wrap things up. Later, guys.